think people sometimes just ignore it because like, well, it's not really good in the meta or won't fit into their comp, but like AP is just so damn good at this champion.
Yeah.
I just think you have to pay the tax. It's the same thing kind of with like Quad and Cassio and some of these champion pairings. You really should not be giving over. Vi gonna get banned away, obviously a really popular first pick here, and the Fury also taken out. So a pretty big focus on the jungle right now.
I need to go to a Stray Kids concert.
That's actually just happened recently, or is happening soon, I will say. But Neeko being the first pick, I will say a lot because of the first game. The Rumble that was picked, Varus was picked, like Gwen was picked, Zin's out. A lot of the usual first pick options are just straight out taken away. The Vibe ban is another one. So like we're gonna see a little bit more of a unique priority, at least in the first phase. But Neeko is a great flex. I haven't seen Keine play it necessarily, but I know that that's something that he can play, and that you know, probably going to be a pick for Isles.
It's a good flex, and it also takes it away from TL, right? Because they flex it a lot between Core and APA, and I think we do talk about APA being a specialist on so many different champions. Neeko is absolutely one of them, so it's a good takeaway there. And then the Pantheon being locked in can also be a flex pick.
Absolutely. I'm kind of thinking with the Neeko though that it's just like a similar game plan as to, you know, bringing Rumble support, right? Where clearly they are coming into this, they're saying, okay, we're going to play powerful lanes, we're going to be able to play 2v2s where we can contest or neutralize the TL bot lane, who has really been that win condition for them. This could be Pantheon Kaisa bot lane. Obviously, you could still look for you know, Pantheon jungle and go something like Nautilus or whatever. I think MF could work. I think you know, you can play a couple of different styles. If you're worried about dive, I think Ezreal is still fine if you want to play more just for poke through bot lane. I really do like Maokai though, is when you're showing both Pantheon and Kaisa, you're showing dive. The counter engage from Maokai is really, really strong. I think this makes it even more likely that Neeko's going bot, and both those champions have fantastic counter engage ultimates, so I feel like you just look to draft around absorbing the punch from TL and then punishing on the re-engage.
Also in tandem with the Jayce, really, really good setup if you do want to go poke into this kind of dive setup that TL already has. We see the hover of the Sion going over APA, and that is going top for impact.
I will say, like, the idea of Jayce being a top lane pick is not true. Like, Keine has played.
You can just move it mid.
You can easily move him mid. His last Jayce game wasn't great, but he is generally a good Jayce player.
And the one thing I will say, so yeah, like obviously most people are thinking about Sion, okay, this is a counter pick to Jayce, so it's got to be in that matchup. I will say, even if Jayce goes mid, you're generally going to be lower on damage, right? Because usually when you're thinking about where a lot of the high DPS champions come from, it's mid, it's AD carry, so even if Jayce is there, it's still going to mean that the composition that Dignitas has is going to struggle to punch through the Sion, right? Not that you can't find something to make that happen elsewhere, but it's definitely a difficulty.
I also do think TL still do their best, or at their best, when they do have impact on a beefier frontliner, especially when it comes to 5v5 fights. I think his setups are still really, really good, and he understands well how to play that specific playstyle. We heard from his interview earlier today how he feels like he hasn't necessarily been able to be that as much for the team, and he really wants to return to that. I think the Sion is also a pick in favor of that, as we see Corki being removed and the Ahri being removed.
Okay. So they are very aware that it could just be a Jayce mid with the Camille ban. I think Camille would have been a great pick for Srtty in this situation. That being said, it could just be Jin 80 carry that comes up from Diggs' side, because yes, you can go MF, but at least you have a lot of long range poke, CC, lockdown. Jin can help on that one. So that might just be trying to force the Jayce up top.
I do also really like the bans from Dig. You know, obviously the pairing of Pantheon plus Ahri really strong, and Nautilus just such a good support to go alongside the Kaisa. Elise could be considered. I still think we're going to just get some sort of hard engage here, you know, whether it is like a Blitz or a Leona or a Rakan or whatever. Like, I feel like so many of these engage champions are kind of interchangeable. There's like 5 or 6 engage champs. Blitz I shouldn't really say is in that. It's kind of a bit outside, but like Nautilus, Leona, Rakan, Rel, etc. You can kind of just take your pick of those, and it is going to give them some really good hard engage. I mean, they have very good engage now with both the Rakan and the Pantheon ultimate. Sion can be going in there with an ult as well. You need an AD carry that's relatively safe. I feel like Sivir, while you can obviously, you know, spell shield some sort of engage, I don't know that you have the mobility to then get out of there afterwards. It's like, great, you spell shielded the Pantheon stun, but then you got hit by the
Everyone's jumping on your head,
It does feel a little bit scary. I mean, it does give them very good wave clear though, and if you're gonna go for like a split pusher and something that is a good answer, so it's like, if they went like Fiora or something like that can play through sides, and you can go Jayce, Fiora, 1-3-1 or whatever, something like that, then you park Sivir mid mid and Sivir just becomes wave clear, and then I understand it more. But I do feel like this would be a hard game for the Sivir to actually play, and it becomes much more of just like an enabling pick where you're just pressing ult for your team. Obviously, it's not going to be a hard split push. It is going to be the Aatrox, but I do worry for how Tomo is going to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, he was hovering the Smolder, and I kind of like the idea, the front line that you had is like Sion and Pantheon you can play through. Maybe it would
kind of just Q-poke from long range.
Exactly.
To get 3 items.
And he's such a damn good Smolder player. He was the first Smolder, I guess, globally. But that's going to be a Viktor lock-in from Team Liquid. Now we have a full idea of the compositions. Which one do you guys like most?
I mean, TL's is way easier to play, right? Like theirs is super simple, lots of engage, really good front line, and I think it's going to be difficult for Dignitas here. They're going to have to get really creative.
Yeah, well, I'm curious to hear what the casters have to think. You guys heard our thoughts. Take it away, casters.
Thank you very much, Analyst Lounge. We have drafts locked in for Dignitas Team Liquid Game 2, and a newer pick here for APA, pulling out the Viktor, getting away from his kind of 6 comfort picks that he's had so far this split.
Are you proud of him?
I'm proud of him, yeah.
We're going to get word of the last time he played Viktor. It should fit in his wheelhouse, though. He is a bit of a mage player. I'm more interested in the effectiveness of the Aatrox recently buffed and whether or not they can make this Sivir Jayce work into the Sion frontline.
Yeah, they got a lot of front line to get through.
Yeah, they actually buffed also the early game of Sivir's farming with the Ricochet early levels, the extra 10% AD ratio. See how much that does affect Sivir's ability to farm up to that late game style.
Non-subscribers, reminder that we'll see you in 30 seconds, but for everybody else, we're going to break down the composition a little bit more because that Sion is the big meatball in front. We already talked about, yes, a buff to the Sivir, but that doesn't feel like a buff to get through a single target Sion, in my opinion. And it's going to be tough, I think, for Dignitas to really team fight into Team Liquid and what they've drafted here. Again, I think more kind of absorb their engage type options.
I mean, listen, the story of Game 1 was Team Liquid playing with a lot of control. They were able to get push in almost all of their lanes. They got double scuttle. They controlled every objective, and Dignitas didn't have the strongest engage. Dig has a little bit better engage, but still not incredible engage. They'll have the Sivir ult, which would help them kind of run alongside a Maokai ult as they're going for an engage, but it would still be fairly slow. But step 1 for the engage would to actually have setup on the thing that they want to engage on. So they have to, first and foremost, focus on getting push in our lane.
They struggled with that setup in game number 1. That was Team Liquid with every single objective and always there a little bit earlier. So a different look for Dignitas in game 2.
Meanwhile, Impact, again, he's clearly just all about early slamming tanks. He's like, I
2 in a row.
I literally do not care what you're gonna play into me, Srtty. You know, they saw the Jayce. Keine has played Jayce mid before, so they're like, oh, okay. You know, even throw a top lane ban there, but I mean, we'll see. This is gonna be the second time that Srtty has gotten his pick of what to pick into Impact's slam of a blind tank. And the Aatrox, as the analyst desk went over, and as you guys talked about on Waiting Room at the beginning of the day too, got those changes. The sweet spots are more sweet now.
Sweeter spots.
Sweeter spots. And
Give you a
the chain being physical now. They put in the patch notes, they're like, this is for Black Cleaver. So that Black Cleaver shred will work for everything. Yeah, probably not going to go the lethality version into Sion especially, so maybe we do get to see that Black Cleaver.
Yeah, and what I love, top lane matchup aside, is the history between these two orgs. They've both been in the league for quite a while. As Yeon and Niles actually taking a big trade against each other here. Root up by the Yeon, has to flash away. Flash forward from Tomo. One more auto might just have it. Oh, Core for the save. Yeon will survive.
Just action exploding as we're trying to tell some story here. The last time Dignitas beat Team Liquid in a best of 3, these were the rosters. 2017 of Summer Split. Keen, not Keine, was the mid laner back then. Here's some other things that were happening in 2017. Spawn, Team Liquid's coach, was casting OPL. Lyra, one of Dignitas' coach, was on Envy of the LCS. So a pretty big
Keine
time jump since the last time
Keine.
Dig won.
8 years ago.
In a
That is
series.
crazy
They've won
to think about.
games against TL, but in a best of series.
Best of, but Dignitas looking to turn that on its head. Again, an aggressive play bot side. That is all sums from Team Liquid's bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see how far they can push this.
Keine going for an aggressive play into the mid lane. AP has to flash away. Oh, he's almost going to die to the minions.
Just auto him.
Yeah, Keine, one flash auto probably would have had that, but he doesn't want to go for it.
I'm very surprised that Keine didn't flash follow for that kill onto APA. He was in melee form, and had just swapped, so I don't think could instantly swap back to ranged.
Maybe you're worried about the Psychic
But
Power shield.
He wanted to drop minion aggro potentially, but I really think Keine could have had the solo kill there.
Regardless, he gets flash out of APA, so that's now 2 different lanes that Sheiden could be looking at as a jungler to try and impact. Can be very, very dangerous for Team Liquid to try and give Yuuji that space control. We were highlighting in game number 1 how well all 3 lanes were making Yuuji's job easier. Doesn't look like we're going to get that in game 2.
For sure. Dignitas definitely coming out with a lot more aggression. Nice play by Keine there. We saw the level 1 where Tomo was an inch away from getting the kill onto Yeon, and they've kept the push on this lane. With that recently buffed W on the Sivir, they've been able to keep this lane pushed.
Yeah, it is looking nice. No summoner spell still for Yeon because of the early aggression. No summoner spell for APA, of course, because of that trade. So, I mean, Sheiden has a lot of options. Mid and bottom lane are definitely prone to some influence here. Of course, he is on Maokai, and Maokai with Flash is like guaranteed you can get onto somebody who doesn't have Flash. So we'll see if Dignitas can kind of change their story here in game number 2, because they certainly need it.
Big chunk onto Srtty right there. We see the resets on the bot laners. I'm going to keep my eyes on where Yeon and CoreJJ want to go, because last game, they immediately lane swapped up, and based on coming out of Fountain, it looks like we're going to get the same here. So Team Liquid, they lose their summoner spells, they're going to put them topside.
Yeah, I mean, I think their scouting report on Srtty is that the more you can make him switch lanes, the worse he's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to continue to try and do in this series. Impact is actually going to match up now with what looks to be a Sivir, but is actually just a Neeko. So it's a full swap here. Sion actually has the 1v2, catches them slightly unawares, as Srtty is still deploying into the top lane. So this is going to be an extended swap situation.
Yeah, and I mean, with the Sivir and Neeko, they can shove this lane in, permanently onto the Sion.
Yeah, I think it's a good call from TL with Yeon and CoreJJ getting kind of blasted there in the early 2v2. Swap, get out of there, so you don't have to deal with that anymore and fall further behind in CS.
Yeah, in theory, this should give Dignitas first dibs on the Drake if they want to, push the next wave, shadow the Drake. But I'm actually wondering, when does Isle start going top lane? Because the flip side of this is the dive threat onto Srtty would be a lot higher if they leave him up there on his own for too long.
He does have his own flash still, as mid lane, again, an aggressive trade from Keine. Srtty's able to dodge away from the engage of CoreJJ right there. But they're starting up the Dragon now, so it seems like Dignitas are trying to force the play to happen before Team Liquid can go for the dive, because Yuuji's looking for it.
Yeah, he walks right over the ward, though. Dignitas not too worried about it at the moment. He's just going to get the deep ward.
Level 6 as well in Aatrox, so he's safe. He kept his health high enough.
Decides to back off, does not commit for the dive. Yuuji was looking for an invade instead while the Dragon was taken, and that is an objective on the board for Dignitas.
We did it. We did it.
Yeah. All
Small
right, it's
victories.
about the little things. Yeah.
We're chilling, they
This
said.
is really going to help them get to the late game, as they were really struggling to do in that game number 1.
Yeah, it certainly is. And with their Sivir also starting so well here, that late game could look beastly. So
yeah.
We'll see. Of course, there's way more game to get played. Srtty has not gone back to purchase before teleporting down here.
Really wants this wave. I mean, he's not under threat to this Bomby Cinder Sion right now.
Yeah.
So he is just prioritizing getting this wave. But again, now Impact is just probably going to run away from him. Important that he can interrupt this recall.
Yeah. And okay, Srtty actually will force Impact back all the way to the turret. See if he can land a clean combo. Impact gets out of there. I think part of the reason for that TP, in game number 1 and in general with Srtty, like you're talking about, Jatt, if you can get him out of his lane and make him go around the map, he falls behind. He was struggling to even pick up waves in that game number 1, as the Gwen ahead of the Ornn. So I think he's just trying to not fall behind right now, as he can shove in another wave here. But the timers will be very mismatched on those teleports going forward. That could have big impact later.
And this continues to look very good for Dignitas.
Yeah.
Keeping up this pressure. The only thing is they haven't been able to punish any of the flashes. But of course, Sheiden is just full clearing, getting the objective for them, and scaling up as Maokai. Now with level 6 with the ulti, they have a lot more control they can use.
Yeah, I'd say Impact's record on Sion isn't as good as you would think, considering they've generally been in finals or winning the split since 2023 most of the time. So potentially one of his less effective picks, but you still think of it as a pick that he would be very strong at because it can be a good frontliner.
It's tough to have good stats in every champion, when you're... Okay, Grand Starfall used by Yuuji in the mid lane. Kaine's able to flash out of there.
Yeah, good flash because Sheiden was already starting grubs, so he's already on them. He didn't have his jungler.
Both of the top laners just smacking each other down right now. Srtty winning the trade slightly.
Do you notice that W did physical damage?
I did notice that.
Note,
That number was red instead of blue.
Very interesting.
Black Cleaver might benefit from that.
Honestly, though, really good from Dignitas again. The control this time around completely swapped. They finish off the grubs. That is full 3 grubs for them. That is 2 of the feats necessary for their objective feat as they continue their pressure. Tomo doing a very good job keeping it up on top side, pushing in. Of course, after the early, 2v2 victory basically from Dig, and Yeon opting into the call, into the lane swap. He's like, I'm just going to try and farm it out here.
Yeah, and we're seeing the duality of Yuuji as a jungler here, the difference between when his lanes are giving him pressure to work with versus not. The first play he's really looked for, Grand Starfall mid. Yes, he gets flash out of the mid laner, but he hasn't really made much happen here on the Pantheon.
I also got to say, it's hard to make something happen against this team comp from Dig. They can spam Maokai samplings, but more importantly, one of the reasons we've seen a rise of this support Neeko is that you're allowed to do this essentially recall clone emote trick where you can just send the Neeko clone on really long journeys, and it gives vision the entire way. So it's a pretty low cooldown. I also notice how he's using this emote now, so the clone isn't disappearing in his normal timer. And look, it's just going half the way through the jungle. So not only have Maokai
not a bug.
they have that Neeko feature apparently moving around the map, and it's just, you're always spotted when you're playing against these champs.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
It's kind of crazy. Pros have complained about it, but they're also the ones that have learned how to do it.
That one's
so
just
it's
chilling
just
there.
That's one of actually the biggest strengths of this pick is its unbelievable vision control when you're in lane.
They've been utilizing that very well so far, as yet again the clone goes forward, does a little dance in the river here. We're on timer for Dragon shortly, 40 seconds. So we see Dignitas bring their bot lane back to the bottom side. Get ready for it.
Yeah, they do not have teleport on Srtty, and so by sending Srtty up to the top side of the map, this may indicate that they are not going to go for this one with Impact being right here with Sign Ultimate available. He gets the luxury with his teleport ready and his ult ready. He can move basically anywhere.
Yeah, Srtty not having teleport means that he's probably going to need to look bot after this wave if Dignitas want to contest it. Although they also have priority on this bottom side here, so they can walk forward.
I mean, really, really hard for Team Liquid to fight. They have no items completed on anyone in terms of major items. They don't have vision control, but if they just get a free pick onto Keine.
Play, and now he's locked down in place, trying to get back to the rest of the team, gets away from the Arcane Storm, and Sheiden does keep his mid laner alive. Nice sidestep there on the Q. Team Liquid try to make a fast play as the Dragon was spawning, but they don't have enough to kill Keine. He can now reset and teleport back to the play.
Yeah, because he has a teleport advantage on APA, this makes it really, really difficult to contest if you're Team Liquid, because the Jayce is teleporting back in right now. There's saplings in every bush that Yuuji is walking through.
Srtty started fading towards the bottom side, but Dignitas say, they're not contesting, we can just take this. That is 2 Dragons over to Dignitas.
They keep it up. The stacking continues. Dignitas here flipping the script.
Do you think we'll get a mic check of Team Liquid now saying, it's okay.
We're chilling.
Push mid, we're chilling. Push mid, push top.
The longer this game goes, the better it is for us, guys. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about Dignitas right now.
Yeah? Oh, yeah?
I'm feeling Kobe, do you think they win this game?
I honestly do too, though. A lot of it is because of Sivir. I'm a huge Sivir fan, especially with the changes.
No flash.
Ooh.
But no threat, because there's no one around. Yuuji.
That's a long cooldown. I mean, he's got 10 CDR. That's still going to be about 160-some seconds before that's available again.
I'm just looking at the facts. Like, Srtty has permanent push at the moment. Sundered Sky first. You better go Black Cleaver second because that physical damage. Onto Impact. Sheiden has gone tankier, so he won't be able to spam jungle clear as much, but they need him to do frontline. Jayce, permanent prio, Sivir, permanent prio, and all the vision control from the Neeko and the Maokai. So they're really playing this like they're just going to be the Soul team. They want to get Cloud Soul as fast as possible, and I don't know if Team Liquid's going to be strong enough to contest them with all the push and vision control that Dig has.
Oh, maybe a flash engage here. Immediate follow-up from Yeon. They're trying to lock down Isles. Pop Blossom used, but no follow-up, and he will go down. First blood around 13 minutes, picked up by Team Liquid Yeon.
It does go exactly where they want it. Into Yeon, into the Kaisa, into the guy that we keep saying he is always the win condition for Team Liquid. So that definitely a very good pick for TL. But still, look how much AoE damage, like just bouncing off the waves, this Sivir does. And they will push the bottom lane back. Even though he got that kill, they're going to lose minions to the tower.
So it feels good in the moment for Yeon, but first item was already picked up earlier from Tomo, and now, okay, Yuuji fighting for his own camp. I love seeing Pantheon versus Maokai for the reason of both of them are great at stealing away each other's camps.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a little surprised Isles died there. He had sent the clone in the river rather than sending the clone up into danger. I think it's because he was trying to get deep wards because Sheiden had planned that he was going to be doing that invade anyway. But you can see, like, what does Team Liquid get from that kill? It's the gold from the kill and nothing else. They got no map pressure. They lost plates. They lost minions. So it's still the same difficulty of forcing fights, but it's going to make them a little bit more competitive come late game because they'll have a little bit of extra gold onto Yeon.
And if TL do find success, it is going to come in a very explosive manner. This is the team with Kaisa and multiple forms of hard engage with a Rakan and a Sion.
Yeah.
If they get a really good, Rakan engage and a Sion ult comes through, Kaisa flying over, it could be a very explosive move from them that quickly spells demise for those Dignitas carries.
Don't let him do that.
Nice little proxy here from Impact as Srtty will try his best to clear out this next wave, but this gives Impact a little window here as the Herald is spawning now in 20 seconds time to... Oh no, he's actually just going to look... Is this going to be a deep proxy?
Yeah, because he's just... I mean, the closer you can get the waves to the base, the more time you have when you get back on the map.
Srtty's going to go do the same thing. So some fun, creative top laning right here.
Yeah. Who can get deeper? Impact right now.
Yeah, Impact can
Go
keep
even
going.
deeper. Get up by that nexus,
base.
Go even deeper beyond. Yeah. Something like that. Rift Herald has spawned, though, so it's going to come down to who has the TP. Right now it's Srtty. Impact has to walk all the way up, as we see in the picture-in-picture. Going to take a little bit longer, but he does have the ultimate to join in the fight.
Sheil might want to fight this because they have Impact there first. So if CoreJJ could find a snap engage. No flash, though.
Yeon can always follow up as well. Sheiden using the Twist Advance to get away from the gravity well. And now the engage comes in onto the clone. Isles in safety as Sheiden now looks for the re-engage. But teleport is coming in from Srtty. Very deep. Team Liquid might not see him yet. He's in the alcove. Srtty coming in now onto APA. Big combo! Flash out from APA as Yuuji now looks to turn back around. Big heal from Srtty. They don't have enough to follow it up, but now the Pop Blossom from Isles. The team fight from Dignitas. They find the engage. They just don't have the damage to get a kill.
Big Pop Blossom visually, not actually, because it was onto a Sion and to a Pantheon who was channeling his E to reduce all of the damage.
And it could have been good because they had
now
split
Srtty's in
Kaisa.
trouble. Oh, Team Liquid stuck around. Dignitas did not respect it, and Impact will even live.
And it's even worse because TL were split there. They were 4v5. Yeon is pushing mid while TL are winning and getting kills up here in the aftermath.
That is rough to see. I liked the initial look from Dignitas, but they just couldn't quite get that last stick of damage onto any members. Now Team Liquid have full control.
I was going to get the whole tower here from that. It could have been so good for Dignitas with him being split off from the rest of the team. That's why they go so hard for that engage, but it cost them a whole tower and they go -1 on the kills.
I'm not taking that deal. I'm not taking that deal.
You don't like that deal?
No, I don't like that deal.
What an incredible sequence for Team Liquid. They stop the objective bleed temporarily with this Rift Herald. They have a chance of setting up the Cloud Drake first now to make it more difficult for TL to walk in. But most importantly, they're just keeping Yeon in the game. Like him getting that solo turret as well as that wave mid while those things happen top lane is so huge for their ability to actually take fights and have a chance of winning them.
It's a massive swing. So if you look at the mini-map right now, this is where, Impact ulted in and Yeon was trying to follow. But then they make the choice right now. He pings the mid wave. He's like, I'm out, guys. He's actually even hesitating there halfway through.
Thinking about it. He's like, no, seriously,
I'm out.
out.
There's a Maokai here. There's Neeko stuff here. I'm just going to go back mid. You guys are okay, right? And they're like, yes, right. Because it just, as you said, caught the Sion and the Pantheon that has the directional immunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny story actually about Yeon and his ability to have a bunch of CSs. TL is actually taking turrets for gold here while they're giving away third Drake. So let's get back to live here. They give away the third Drake to keep the gold as close as possible on the map here, getting a tier 2 inner turret.
Ran the Herald topside into 2 different turrets.
So they're really going to be all in on this soul fight now with their inventory. So they're just making sure they can get as much gold as possible for that next fight.
Srtty will at least get 1 turret, so that's something for Dignitas here. It was about a 2,000 gold lead that evens it up slightly more, 1K in favor of Team Liquid. But we're really going to have to track who's set up better for that dragon fight, because that could be the pivotal moment here in this game number 2. But a reminder, if you want to watch finals with a crowd, but you're not in LA, we got good news, because LTA North is partnering up with Regal Cinemas to bring the finals to the big screen. Scan the QR code on your screen to get tickets today. No one wants to watch finals alone, right?
Definitely not. No. It's always better with friends. I want to talk about Yeon, though, and something that he was doing last week as well. He's so disciplined about making sure his farm is up. Sometimes it's to the detriment because his team is off doing something, but like if there's a wave that Yeon could be getting, he's usually going to that wave. So in their 3-0 loss to C9 last week, he was up in some games like 30, 40 CS on Sven because Sven was grouped and Yeon had caught the wave before the fight. So it's one of these things that makes sure he's always a threat throughout the game, and it's something to keep paying attention to.
And I mean, okay, as we see, maybe a trap laid by Team Liquid. It's all the more impressive considering Tomo's on Sivir and he's been shoved in the whole game. But now Team Liquid might be making a play bot side here because Keine under the turret has to flash away. Sheiden, again, playing goalie here. They only lock up the Pantheon. That's just not going to be enough. So that's flash burned from the mid laner.
Interesting. I wonder if they can get a repeat on that one, because every flash that's blown now, since we're only 3 minutes away from the dragon, is going to give you value for what you know is going to be the game-determining fight here with the Dragon Soul coming up. So,
and CoreJJ traded his as well, so I'd say that's like a big engage tool down now potentially if that Dragon fight starts immediately.
They want to just break this turret though. They're keeping this map pressure. Yuuji spent a large amount of time here. His top camps have been up this whole time, and it ends up getting repelled pretty easily. So junglers are always a little bit sad when those camps stay alive for too long. God damn Neeko clone. Look at how much vision it did.
don't worry, I'm with you. I am also mega triggered by it whenever I play against that.
It's
all I can think about.
So far away from where Isles was.
As we get into it, though, the vision is such a big point because each of them, you can tell, are trying to get the outer tower that is close to the dragon. The mid lane tower for TL also still stands. Dignitas keep trying to push up, keep trying to chip away at it. It is fairly low. It's like almost 50%. So is the one on bottom side that stands there for Dignitas. But each team actually playing really good defense in keeping you know, their tower that is close to the fight up so that then they have a way to move into it.
Yeah, I think it really does signify Dignitas can play through the bottom side, Team Liquid can play through that mid side. But when I weigh which one I prefer, typically teams I see like to have that mid lane shove as their approach towards the dragon. Also importantly, controlling that banana bush, very, very helpful. Red side sometimes can do that a little bit better as it's on their side. But Dignitas can still check it with the clone and with the saplings and with all the tools at their disposal. So, I mean, there's a lot you can get done in 5 minutes, gentlemen. It feels like we're just kind of waiting for that next dragon to spawn.
I'm feeling like TL is stronger right now, though, with their ability to get those turrets of gold. The fact that Impact is sitting on 230 armor and still no Black Cleaver anywhere for the Aatrox or the Jayce or the Sivir to cut through. So Impact is the strongest member right now.
From the earlier fast play bot side, so that is the turret down.
Very valuable ult there, just pushes them off the tower, and they finally get that outer tower down, and immediately they start up the Otacon.
Yeah, it's smart. At the moment, they are way stronger than Dignitas. So Srtty needs to kill this. He needs to get a Black Cleaver because they need something. They have so much physical damage, and they don't have any magic damage from their Maokai because he went Unending Despair first. So it's really, they cannot kill Impact in a 5v5 team fight, and they're hoping. He went Sterix second on the Aatrox, so I still think they're going to be weak for this next Drake fight. I'm interested to see how Dignitas take this on, as they do want to get the soul. It might be worth flipping the objective, but I do not think they win a heads-up 5v5.
At this point, I think it's just ignore Impact, and you have to dive onto the carries instead. If you can just kill APA or Yeon, maybe Impact just doesn't matter at that point, because, it's going to take forever to actually get through the Sion.
Certainly is. They're going to make a bottom side
Srtty,
pick.
all alone down to the bottom side, walks into the brush, has to flash away. Yuuji and Yeon did not burn very much there.
And both of them have ultis where they could join the topside fight. So even though Dignitas are kind of threatening, they want to punish on the topside fight, you can't really do that to Team Liquid.
No world ender, no flash for Srtty. He's going to back and look to teleport back into the fight.
But with no flash, no ult on the Aatrox, you're just not that much of a threat. TL, is going to just start this up. The biggest thing is whether or not they can keep Sheiden out of the pit here.
APA's down to half health because of Keine landing back-to-back chunks onto him. So Dragon's the focus. Shaiden's going to try and get into the pit, walk around the gravity well. He gets stunned up by the gravity well, and Yuuji gets the Dragon. Dignitas might just try for the fight afterwards. APA and Yeon in a good position, but they have different target selection right now, as Yeon's actually trying to chase away Srtty on the bottom side of the fight. No fight will actually break out. It's just Team Liquid getting the Dragon.
They barely are able to eke it out. As you say, you know, Sheiden can't even get there for the steal. Gets stunned up. Gravity well pulls him down. It's not the end of the world for Dig, because they still can get the mid tower, and they're going to get another shot at it.
Yep.
But it is very necessary for Team Liquid, so they're quite happy to have gotten out with that one.
Incredibly important defense, and I think a really well-played defense by Team Liquid as well. If we kind of zoom out to think what they did in the 5 to 6 minutes from the last Drake to this Drake, they prioritized gold. They made sure they had item spikes on the Sion. The Viktor became fairly strong, and the trap play that they ran with the 2 pseudo globals they had on the bot lane also diminished whatever threat Srtty would have had to flank them when they did have to commit to that Drake. So they really did, I think, everything right in the last, I almost want to extend it to like 8 or 10 minutes, since it was 2 Drakes to 0 to make that defense possible.
And if we remember back to game number 1, I'm going to extend that even further. Team Liquid have just done a good job of capitalizing on Srtty's pathing towards fights. Game number 1 was when APA got picked off. They then get onto Srtty as he's trying to walk and group up. This time around, he just walks into the brush. So Srtty having a rough look of things, as again, he seems to be the focus right now. Still no flash available. Will pop the World Ender, but Yeon has a lot of damage. CoreJJ taking up some turret shots here as they will claim the feat of warfare. 24.5 minutes into the game.
Team Liquid just have so many tools that go for these picks, and they continue to focus him. No flash. They exchange tower shots here. Even Yeon's like, okay, Core's done soaking. He soaks some tower shots, and they get out afterwards. The assassination is complete.
Confirmation from production. That is the latest feats of warfare claimed this split. I think no surprise right there. That was almost 25 minutes on the clock. It's been more about kind of these setups for the fights. No one's actually committing, but now they're committing onto Keine right here. Grand Snowfall used. He flashes into the pit, takes some damage from Baron, but Keine gets out of there.
He does. Costs him another flash, though, and it will keep Dignitas kind of on their back foot. Going to go out on a limb. Dignitas, I think, needs a kill if they want to win the game. At some point.
It would be so cool.
Though? How sick would that be?
It would be
that would be sick.
Cool.
Production, can we check the stats? Has anybody won a game without a kill? I don't know if that's possible.
Definitely not in LTA.
I'm saying
played
no.
a lot of games,
I can check right now. I'm going to say no.
Kobe and I have been here the whole time since 2013. Hasn't happened.
You'd probably remember that one if it had happened, yeah, I suppose. Hey, so you're saying Dig could be the first?
Yeah.
He's got to get the soul.
That's exactly what we're saying.
And then run really fast.
The only
to
thing
Nexus.
we're saying, yeah.
I mean, now I definitely want to see it, but it's definitely not going to happen. As we turn our attention,
I don't believe in absolutes, Kobe.
You know what?
Never say never.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that attitude here. Let's see though, because again, we don't have any armor shreds still.
Yeah,
there is a Leandry's now built on Sheiden. So after the early stop off, like they have some sort of burn, but here goes another TL
Yuuji
flank.
on the flank right now, just catches out Keine, but he goes down. It's actually CoreJJ that falls. The Rakan for the mid lane. As now re-engage comes in from Sheiden, but it's not going to mean much for Dignitas. Trading support for mid lane, Team Liquid not getting that much done here, but hey, it's a kill. It's a kill for Dignitas. They got one on the board.
Yep, no way to make that record happen now, but also congratulations. Congratulations, Dignitas. It's good that it went over to Tomo as well, because they need him to have sustained damage in these team fights. Eventually, so the Sivir will have enough damage to cut through the Sion. He's getting fairly close now with 3 full completed items. But I'm with you, Kobe. I'm shocked that they don't have any armor shred anywhere.
It's like one of those ARAM games where everybody could build it, so everyone's like, no, you get the Black Cleaver, no, you get the Grievous Wounds, you know, yeah.
And then looking forward at it too, all these pings towards APA. Tomo is right here, and the thing about Sivir obviously AoE shreds basically a whole team, so you can kind of go like around Sion and kind of through and to the sides.
He is the springboard to get your damage onto the back line. There we go.
Use him as the bounce.
You don't want him to die. Then you don't have a target to hit anymore.
You can't bounce with him. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Let's get a listening on their comms to hear that one.
Unfortunately, it's also going to hurt when you're hitting him, because Impact has completed Thornmail. So, yeah, this guy's just going to be a monster.
Okay, can they make another explosive play? We keep highlighting this for TL.
Seconds. Yeah, Tomo just takes a huge chunk of damages. He's just going to go down. Doesn't burn any summoner spells. Wants to go for the reset and not burn too much. But, I mean, that should just be enough. Team Liquid can now look at the dragon that just spawned.
So much pressure there. Really nicely done. Again, the setups for these dragons, TL, well ahead of time, are always getting to position first and then getting either summoner spells out or large chunks of health out and just pushing Dignitas away from the objective.
Which is impressive considering it's the Maokai, it's the Neeko, it's these champions that can always check these brushes, but the fact that Team Liquid have found these windows as they found Srtty alone yet again. Flash is available, he's going to try and save it. Will flash, but Yeon still finds the play. Pop Blossom from Miles to start things off over here as APA actually went down. Dignitas find 2 in the mid lane. Double kill to Keine.
Oh, that's actually huge. It's bigger than the pick on a Srtty because they've taken down both soul laners and they can turn for Baron here. Yeon has no flash or ultimate.
Okay, Dignitas, do we have the confidence? Are we brave enough to start up the Baron? CoreJJ a pick onto the Rakan. Could be big as well.
Flash.
Okay, Team Liquid have delayed them.
They can't delay any further. They either start it now or never because the impact TP will happen in 20 seconds. They kill the Baron pretty fast, though, with the Sivir and the Jayce.
Yuuji always can threaten with the steal, though. The Pantheon 5th stacked Q plus the smite is fierce. No flash available, though. So as long as they can keep him out of the pit, this is big for Dignitas, but it might come down to a 50-50. Yuuji's posturing for it, taking some damage, taking some poke. He's going in now, goes for the combo, doesn't get the Baron low enough. Yuuji went too early, and Dignitas get 2 kills plus the Baron.
Dig Baron strike again. It's been a whole different story this split for Dignitas. They expertly pulled that one off, holding the Baron around 3,000 health, making Yuuji have to be very indecisive. And then after they kill him, they can easily follow up with a kill onto Yeon and now have the Baron.
And yeah, exactly. Baron means they're going to get so much on the map after this. Let's take another look at how
That's how it started.
Exactly. The pick onto APA and Impact here, and they get the Sivir speed up here. Maokai ult goes through.
It's still tagged.
Yeah, tags through. Impact can't block the whole ultimate, but I feel like they get to him anyway with just the speed from the Sivir ultimate while 3 people are going for the pick. And now watching this one more time, watch how they just kind of stop damage on Baron. Right about now, Yuuji flies in, unable to burst it, and because it's a 4v3 and Tomo is just shredding them with W's and Q's, makes it easy.
Yeah, and there was a blast cone up behind Baron, but TL didn't go up there to check. And see it, and you can tell. Dignitas, okay, now back out with the Baron. Let's get the split push going here. You can easily do a 4-1 split. Sivir can annihilate those mid waves. Srtty on the bottom side.
The big thing is, yes, Team Liquid have delayed the Dragons. Baron puts Dig back in the gold lead. So if they don't get a huge advantage with just this or close out the game, it at least puts them in a position where now, big chunk on Yeon, now they can actually control the space and be more advantageous, or in a more advantageous position for that Dragon Soul.
It's actually crazy because the Jayce has gone full lethality. When he does sneak a bullet around the Sion, he's really chunking APA or Yeon.
Again, ignore the Sion. He's not the threat.
That one hit the Sion, didn't break the shield at all.
Nope.
I want to
we don't pay attention to those.
Look at this CoreJJ
flank
flank because he has been really deep, but there are wards leading up to his position to the rest of Dig, so they will see him coming.
Spotted now. Yep. So they see him, they ping him as well, and flash engage from Impact with the Grand Starfall over the top. They got Tomo. Team Liquid pounce on an overextended Dignitas. Dig thought with the Baron wave they were safe. Team Liquid say no.
The engage is just so good. Pantheon ultimate, Sion ultimate comes through. CoreJJ is so far down there, but the other team starts it out first, and then he can just follow up. Now Team Liquid will march back.
Let's see how much they can get here with no Sivir or Jayce for wave clear.
30 seconds. I don't think that they can go for the end. Let's see how hard they want to push, though.
They might try.
Yeah, let's see it. They're going to go for the turret.
Okay.
Diving under a little bit. Impact down to half health. Inhibitor will go down here. But now 15 seconds on Tomo to get through 2 Nexus turrets Too tall of a task. Team Liquid back off.
All about setting up for this next Drake now, 50 seconds. Thinking about the way that last fight happened, though, it's so funny. It was the Sion engage that actually did it. It's like everyone turned around to look at CoreJJ, and then what was right in front of their face was the Sion, who gets a clean engage onto Tomo and Keine. Flash Sion arm. When's the last time you saw that for the point-blank knockup?
About 10 seconds ago.
Into the triple knockup from the decimating smash as well.
Yeah.
Yes, so again, I mean, it was CoreJJ as a distraction, but he really was just that distraction.
And Tomo still doesn't have his flash, so he's got no barrier, still doesn't have the flash for this fight either.
Whole game could be decided in this fight.
And it will come down to who can find the right engage, who can find the damage onto the key carries. Isles jumping onto APA, but he goes into the stasis. Now CoreJJ rooted up. APA is fine. Can reposition with the team impacts. Dies so slowly, but his health is going down, so Team Liquid actually got chunked out.
Yeah, he's going to have to reset and TP back in, but he's got the TP, so he will be another brick wall. Let's see how fast Dig can take this Drake down.
The bigger thing is Yuuji's low health now as well. He can't heal up all the way. He's not even going to get into the pit. Doesn't have the Grand Starfall, doesn't have Flash. That is going to be Dragon Soul for Dignitas.
All right, Dignitas with a bunch of extra move speed, and they have the Sivir. So a lot of this game has been Team Liquid making picks on Dignitas, but now that they have a Cloud Soul,
they'll be so fast.
They're going to be so insanely fast, and when Sivir pops the ultimate, it's anyone around is just going turbo.
800 move speed? Do we think that's what Sivir's going to be hovering? I imagine somewhere there.
You can be going as fast as you want, but if Pantheon flash W's you, you're still stunned. So it's still going to be a one-fight game here with how much damage both sides are doing. I'm like looking at Yeon and Tomo's items. They're both completely stacked. Not to mention the Viktor. If he can just be in range for one combo.
And still no Black Cleaver on Srtty, by the way.
Yeah, what's just not happening?
Yeah, at this point. Not worried about the armor shred, instead just trying to survive yourself as the front line here. And I mean, it's worked a little bit here for Dignitas. There's been shaky moments in this game, but they still find themselves with the soul pretty much dead even gold as the Baron is spawning here in under a minute's time. So I think it's going to come down to one final big fight unless somebody gets picked off.
You can see Dig is still grouping up because if they get snap engaged on, they would lose the game. So TL is still looking for a fight here.
It's also scary to sideline against the Pantheon and the Kaisa combo because they can always just fly in onto Keine. Really, like, Srtty's the only one that can potentially do it, but even that's scary.
Yeah. How quick do you have to be to get away from the quickness from CoreJJ also? Especially when he has Flash and ulti available. And see if they can get any more flanks off. These wards over the control wards, they must have killed
Yuuji.
control wards in these brush like 7 times.
That's so funny. The ricochets took APA to a 3rd health after Impact Shield. That's Impact
amazing.
Is still such a brick.
Yeah. But again, he is not the focus. They are just trying to do damage to the backline. It's about Jayce finding these snipes onto the carries. It's about the Sivir getting the ricochet onto them. I was kind of joking about it, but Impact really is that delivery system for the ricochets.
Who's going to be the delivery
and
for the
another one hits onto
engage?
APA right now. Flash is available on the Viktor, but here comes Isles. Won't look for the Pop Blossom yet. Had the Flash engage, but APA with Flash available as well can always back off.
I mean, it's just everyone in mid lane because they know if Dig has a numbers advantage, they can Sivir ult and just run anyone down.
Yeah.
But if they're split up, Core can just flash engage on anyone and they can probably one-shot. So both teams are just trapped in this mid lane struggle.
Big chunk on a Yeon. Every time one of these hits from Keine, it just changes everything, as Yuuji almost did get caught out right there, looking for his own little flank. Cannot commit to it. Man, what a tense moment for both of these teams.
And Dignitas, the longer they have to poke, the better for them. Keep on just throwing out skill shots here, trying to hit TL. TL are the ones that are going to have to finally pull the trigger and put a stop to this.
Yeon doesn't have like the lifesteal to try and heal up off of one Jayce Q. He's going to look for it now, but yeah, this is a tough position when you just see how Kaine's got these magnetic shock blasts.
Okay, Tomo's finally building armor pen as well, so he will start doing damage to Sion soon. Maybe around 400 CS when he completes his final damage item. Serpent's Fang to reduce the shields as well from the Sion when he presses W on the Jayce. It's so weird. As much as the game could just end on a snap engage, we could also just be waiting for the next Drake to spawn, or because I don't think either team wants to start Baron either, with how close the game is.
And the next Drake is Elder Drake.
Yeah.
So that is a big boy dragon. That thing ends games.
I feel like we're stuck here for 2 minutes. But we can't talk about other stuff because the game could end at any moment.
Still waiting for TL to see the angle, because otherwise Dignitas, again, just keep trying to sneak poke onto APA, onto Yeon. Already a little bit of a chunk onto him right now.
Stuck in a bit of a time loop as Keine is still just trying to accomplish that exact same task over and over again. Another shock blast onto core.
This is ridiculous. They're just...
Well, at this point, let's just count.
That's a big Q.
Okay.
Is that enough? Nope.
Is this going to be the engage? Have the teams finally done a flash forward from Yuuji, engage, follow-up from CoreJJ, but the Pop Blossom onto the front line. They're going to take down one. That's a shutdown onto Sheiden, answered in kind by Dignitas. Yuuji's out of there, but APA can free fire. Yeon goes back in, double kill to Yeon. The Kaisa positioning, didn't even need a flash.
Wow, I mean, that's how it ends. Now they're going to get Baron off of that.
It's a 2-for-1. I mean, at the same time, they kill both junglers, so a steal is kind of possible if Jayce can bend the bullet in the right way. They don't have great vision. I don't think we're completely done with this yet. Okay, they're backing off. They're giving them the Baron.
It's perfect timing for Team Liquid because they can Baron-empowered recall and have plenty of time to go over and put vision for this Elder Dragon spawn as well.
And who was the one that made it happen but Yuuji? Finally the member to pull the trigger, a flash over the Raptor Pit wall to allow CoreJJ to go for the engage. And it looked a little dicey, but again, Yeon being able to play that exceptionally well. They have a gold lead, they have the Baron, they can get control as they try and set up this Elder Dragon fight.
Wow, CoreJJ 4th all-time in NA with 4,000 assists. Gonna try and get a couple more at this Elder fight. Yeon hitting 6 items as well. Little indecisive on what he wanted as a 6th item. I saw him buy the RFC, undo it, then say, actually, no, it's the best item for now. Wants that little bit of extra range for these long bouts of eye contact they're giving each other on the mid-wave.
A lot of eye contact.
They're giving each other a lot of eye contact.
An uncomfortable amount of eye contact for all party members.
Kangas, you really like flips between Pantheon and Maokai, so flips on Elder.
On the watch. Tomo, maybe not as fun to watch if you go down here, has to pop the ultimate to get away.
Look at Yuuji waiting down there with the Pantheon ultimate.
Tomo's able to heal up off of those Raptors. He's going to go for another mid-wave here. Heal up off of this.
I mean, Tomo just walked that one off. He still has his Sivir ult. It's the Viktor ult that's down, so Dig wins that trade a little bit. But Yuuji, as you say, still looking for that flank.
All right, does still have that available. Everything available for Dignitas right now outside of flash from Keine. And they have control over the river.
Yeah, they want to start it out because Viktor has no ultimate. Tomo's easily able to use the Bloodthirster on the Elder, but now when Team Liquid go for the wave, Dignitas want to push them off of it.
They think maybe if they just play away from Yuuji, who's looking for his own flank right here, group up. Kaine's going to walk right into him, though. Yuuji is in the brush. Yuuji actually does decide to go in, get some damage onto Keine, but now he's all alone right now. Yuuji interrupted on the blast cone, and he's taken out of the fight. Dignitas have claimed 1. Impact's buying space for everybody else, but they just can't get enough damage in to threaten Srtty. They can threaten Tomo. Almost goes down. Sivir gets out of there. Blinking health bars on members of Team Liquid. Isles cannot land the Pop Blossom, but Team Liquid lose their jungler.
Yeah, and Yeon got so low, he had to back, so it's just APA and Core trying to keep watch of this Elder Dragon.
Yeah.
Remember, Dignitas with the Cloud Soul, they moved so quickly. That's how they got Yuuji in the first place. Team Liquid, they have to hope for a miracle here.
I mean, they have Smite. TL doesn't. They should be able to secure this. What's TL here for?
APA is going to maybe try and find a fight. Yeah, they back off. Team Liquid say there's no chance of a fight at the Elder. That is earned by Dignitas. Pick onto a jungler into a potential game-winning objective.
And you're playing with fire when you're trying to pick a team that has Cloud Soul.
Yeah.
They respond so quickly.
Yeah.
Even though you can get a little chunk onto Keine here, boom, Srtty pops his ultimate. He is zooming on the Cloud Soul movement speed on the ground too.
The sweet spot of the Q2, I think, from the Aatrox stopped the blast cone from jumping over the wall right there.
Yeah.
He thought if he had the empowered Pantheon E, he'd get the move speed to make it to the blast
buff.
cone.
Yeah, exactly.
But Cloud Soul, Cloud Map, just too fast.
Had no flash available, actually, as did go down there. Oh, what a position we find ourselves in now. With the Elder Dragon, Dignitas can now control this top side of the map and look to push for another turret.
And now even the clone moves faster for more vision. It's just still absurd from this Neeko. So much vision.
Oh, good old Dignitas game as well. We're past 42 minutes already.
True.
I like the way this looks for our odds. Of,
I love a team that's consistent, Kobe. Yeah.
Long games.
Let's see though, with this extra power here, with fully scaled Sivir, full build Sivir here, this is what you're always imagining with this champion. Pushing towards the end of the game, the Maokai ultimate goes in.
The Elder, look at that church.
Underneath the turret, just melting this thing. Sheiden's taking a lot of damage, and they actually don't have a wave right now, so Dignitas will trade some of their health bars to get the objective.
It's another one of these things where they can snap engage a fight, but no Maokai ultimate means they have to play this fairly slow.
Yeah,
Yuuji's just stopping the next wave from coming in, so they're trying to limit the cost to one inhibitor here. Should be successful.
Let's see if they look for that bot wave as well. But Dignitas, what a statement to make here. I mean, we talked about the experience of members from Team Liquid outside of Yuuji, a lot of experience now on this roster, even looking at AP and Yeon playing for a couple years in the league here. But Srtty, first playoff game here. Sheiden only having a little bit more experience than that. Keine coming in from the LLA to play in the North. I mean, a lot of these guys, this is not a stage that they're familiar with.
No, and they had a good early game here. Now they're just flying down mid.
They're just snap engaging onto the carries. They got Yeon, has to ult to safety, but APA's in the middle of everybody through the stasis. Will go down. Carries full. Dignitas rise in the series.
Too fast. They just run down the mid lane.
The power of the dragons. The dragon soul, the elder dragon buff. They run them down, and Dignitas here are going to push us to a new game. Even it up.
An
1-1.
ace for Isles' life. You take that trade. Dignitas, bless us all. We have not seen more than 3 games in a best-of-5 Fearless in the North. Dignitas will push us to Game 3 and even the record, making it 1-1. We'll at least have a Game 4.
What a game there. It's got to be a big confidence builder for Dignitas because it was a situation where they had a lot of early control. It looked like they fumbled a little bit in the mid game, but the fact that they were able to regroup, secure the soul, get a really good Baron actually at a crucial stage in this game, and clutch out the victory to even it up will be huge for their mental.
Remember their comms from game number 1. Don't worry. We can
Don't
scale.
stress.
If anything bad happens in any games,
It's chill.
just try and go super late.
Yeah, and they were able to do just that. Let's now head on over to the LTA Lounge to break that one down.